Welcome everyone, it's great to have you here. Today we are testing the bucket set from Dr.Glossy by JP Performance in real life use here at Spox. Everything is really set up. I was able to secure another box. You can see that everything is already prepared here. BMW is involved. And now we are testing it in real life. There's some real action here. So in terms of sound, if there's a bit of noise, yes, that's just our environment where we often use such things. And now let's see how it works in real life use and whether the advantages that the set is supposed to offer are truly effective in everyday situations and whether they provide significant value. We will test this together now. So let's take a look at this. We have everything we need. And you can already see the first thing. I like to use liter bottles, but they don't fit in the higher one. I also can't store the wheel brush in here because it's a bit too long. At least the one I use. I already removed the lid once because I only have one hand available to open this now. I have the dirt sieve with me, and here we have the interior. I even managed to squeeze in a 1 liter Tuga shampoo devil bottle. You can see it gets squeezed in from the side like this. It's not perfectly suitable. If you want to put another one on the other side as well, you'll see that it is really very tightly pressed. So, for other bottles outside of the doctor. We've already seen glossy products, so it will definitely be a bit challenging. I would have to use small bottles. You might even be able to squeeze wash mitts in here in the middle. Well, you might still be able to transport this. Look, it definitely fits in here. It's just a bit more difficult to get it out again. And the system could simply be taken with the bottles and placed out here. Just pay a little attention to make sure the bottom isn't too dirty. Otherwise, you'll end up with all the sand stuck to the underside, and eventually you'll scratch the material here. And here we go. This is the first use case that I will show you now. I hope you can see these scratches. I feared this from the very beginning because the idea of using a completely transparent wash bucket here is great. But as soon as this part stands in dirt even slightly, and you don't pay attention, you will end up scratching it after multiple uses. We're just going to test it now. I'm not intentionally pushing against the wall. I'm just sliding in normally. You see, this is how you build it up. I hope you can see it. It looks much better in real life than it does here now. At some point, I think the bucket will be completely full of scratches in the interior after a few months. I might take another photo for you, but I think you can already see it. The camera is not so easy to capture, so we will put that out now. This is also a point I want to draw your attention to. Be careful when you place this in the dirt, and if the self-service boxes are dirty, as you can see here in 2021, you will have a lot of potential dirt down here that can scratch the surface. Yes, you would have your shampoo with you here. In my case, I always put it in like this at the top. Now let's fill it up and take a little bit with us as we head towards the sink. And I have to say, the handle here is very cool. The way it is here is a very nice thing. So let's go to our sink, and I'm really going to take you along, up close. I don't want to sugarcoat anything here. There's some real action happening. With us, the wash bucket also fits here in the sink. It's a bit large in size here, but these are not exactly compact items, obviously. So, I'm going to fill this up with water. This should be enough for washing. Now, I will fill it completely, and then see how I can take the bucket out with one hand, without switching to my left hand with the camera, so that I can take it out with my right hand. Let's take a look. Yes, I really like the handle. It's very well made. Here, the rubber is also very grippy. Wonderful. Now, let's add a chip. And then we have 15 liters in here. What stands out to me now is that the logo doesn't necessarily become more visible. So it's very subtle. Anyone who wants to mess around with their Dr.Glossy bucket at the self-service box has to admit that from a distance, it doesn't stand out as much as, for example, I would have liked to have a sticker or something like that on it, or a colorful bucket with a big colorful logo. So now I'm having difficulties here. The reason for this is simply that not everyone has a sink here, but it works. Next to me, they are already washing by hand. With us, the world is still in order. So, we have our wash bucket, and we are going to put the dirt sieve in here like this. It has to go in this way. That was easy enough. It should sink down to the bottom. Works. So now let's add a bit of Tuga shampoo. I just go by feel. I'm not doing a complete dosage here, because it's all about the handling. So, now I will take a quick look at this with the glove. I took hot water, and at 25 degrees, the water is hot. So don't be surprised if I don't completely lather it up here, At 65 degrees water temperature, which I just took, this is more suitable for winter. So, it works so far, and now we are going to wash the vehicle. I'm curious about the reality check to see if this foot down really works well, because there are a few things to keep in mind here. JP has clearly stated that this is an important point for him, a very annoying point in the past, that he always has to bend down here when he needs to reach into the bucket with the wash mitt to get fresh shampoo. Because as you can see here, you really have to bend down. And this would be the position where I'm almost at the bottom with the mitt. Here I would be in the wash bucket, which means my body is actually at an angle of about 90 degrees. Now the point is, we can place it right on top here. Let's do it too. Place it on top now, and hook it in. For that, I quickly check the direction. This is how it is hooked in. You can see here that when there are 15 liters of water inside, it is actually quite stable. But it still has a very, very high tipping point. If you don't have water in it, the head up here is of course significantly lighter. But if you have water in it, I immediately notice the tipping moment. Nothing will happen due to the wind. But if you have the part standing somewhere behind you now and you are washing, for example, down here and take a step back, that is really absolute. This is the reality. And I have already bumped into the bucket twice during my entire car washing time because it is positioned lower down. It hasn't tipped over yet. I noticed it in time, but I'll show it to you again now. And this is the reality. People just hold on if you're not paying attention. So make sure to place it in a spot where you are not too close to the vehicle. You are washing the sill down here and realize, okay, I need new water. Don't think, hey, where did I put that thing? And run to the back, because you might bump your thigh against this tower. If you're not quick enough, it will tip over from that point. And the tipping moment is about here. Here is the tipping moment, and it will happen relatively quickly. It will tip over fast if you are not careful about where you place it. I would recommend that you always place the pot as far away from the vehicle as possible. That means really far away, so that when you are here at the vehicle, now it wobbles because I am standing on this small plate. That means when you are working on the vehicle here, make sure you are in the door area, moving down towards the sill, so that you can definitely make the rotational movement without bumping your butt or thigh against the part. You should have about a meter of space, so you can take another step back in and continue washing down here. So here's another tip regarding your position. Be careful not to place it too close to the vehicle. With a regular wash bucket, I will try to take it out here. It works. If I have the regular wash bucket here, I will now place it in the same position. So I will wash here again and come against it. Then it has a very, very low tipping point. So I really have to pull it very, very hard with force for it to tip over. Because look here, how far I have to bend it to the side for it to topple. So with this foot, the risk is significantly higher that if you bump into it, the thing will tip over, either against the wall of the self-service box or outside, hopefully not against the car. So a very, very important note regarding usage. The next point I want to share with you is about wheel cleaning. When it comes to wheel cleaning, if you say, okay, I want to use this system like this all the time, we will assemble it again. I would also recommend that you always stabilize a bit with your foot, hook it in, and now you can move it. When cleaning the rims, we spray our rim here. So I'm not doing a detailed car wash here. I'm just showing you how it works in the different areas. We take our wheel brush, dip it in, and now you can already see the next point I want to address. When this is up here and you go out here, you simply have the effect from an ergonomic perspective that you don't just go down here and let everything that runs out of the wash brush or the wheel brush stay down here, but you have to come up here. And if you don't pay attention there and then go out like this, you also have to be careful that your knee isn't pointing in the direction where you might spill this over your thigh. Also, step back a bit, and you need to clean the rim up here. Rinsing the rim brush is possible. However, in my personal opinion, I don't find this movement at the upper position as comfortable as when the bucket is placed lower during rim cleaning. I kneel down like this, or I squat down again. That was already my rim. Here, I can easily get between the rim and the brake caliper, and now I can just go over without having to lift my arm. Just slide right in. I don't have to move my arm here because everything is at the same height. I go over the joint and not like this. I don't have to lift my arm like that. These are subtle differences, but they do exist. Whether this is a problem for you now is your decision. But I want to show you the difference in ergonomics because this is a component that simply changes the ergonomics in handling. So how can I move this here? How can I work with this? Like this in here? Pay attention to my upper arm. There we go. Let's raise it up again. I really want to move it up and down here more often so you can see the handling as well. Snap, it clicks into place. I think that's great. Here, I'm a little worried that this might happen at some point. I don't know. It's really still a bit wobbly. You really need to pay attention to that. Let's do the whole thing again. Pay attention to my arm again. 1,000, no one cleans their rims like that. It really takes a toll on the back. It hurts a lot. That's why you actually squat down, one leg up, one leg down, and now I have to do this here. I can't get in like this. I would have to bend my arm here. But you don't do that. You automatically lift your shoulder and have to get back into the tower up here. And for me, this is my personal opinion on it. It's not very ergonomically friendly when it comes to rim cleaning. With a rim brush like this, I prefer to have the bucket positioned lower. That covers the topic of rim cleaning for now. So now we come to the top side of the vehicle, the side, and also down here. Now comes the moment that I find really cool. This is exactly the point where this system with the stand base can shine. I move to the next spot on the vehicle, either this way or that way. I grab everything and place it here to the side, and I don't have to bend down to lift the bucket. 2001. However, what comes into play now is that when I go in here, I still have to lean forward. I cannot work while standing. This means, as you can see here in relation to my height, this is my natural length. I still have to bend almost 90 degrees. I would say about 70 degrees here in my back to get in here. This means that bending over while using the wash mitt, rinsing it out, and taking new shampoo is still necessary. It is not completely eliminated. But it also means that for those who say, I just don't want to bend down, the problem is still there. And you can see that now in the pictures. This means that if I stand up straight here, I am positioned like this. But I have to do this to rinse out the wash mitt. This means that the back bending moment is still present. Now let's get to the vehicle. I'm just washing up here at the top. And I notice, okay, I want to use new shampoo. So I go in here, have to bend down, wash my glove out at the bottom, and now I just go over here. I'm back in a bent position, and I have to bend down further. That doesn't go away. It's still there. I bend down further and further until I reach the bottom. Those behind me can already see my construction worker's cleavage, and now I go back up. I have to straighten up to lower myself again. Upright, lower 2001. I don't do it that way. It's completely illogical. That means I have to, after being down here at the vehicle, where I have to bend over, go up a bit again to then go back down here. But if I have the bucket standing on the floor now, I can hook out, position myself approximately, wash my vehicle here. I'm down here, I bend over, I have to go down as well. I stay in this position and can continue directly from here. I don't have this getting up, down, down. I am down here, supporting myself a bit on my thigh so that the relief in my back is effective. And now I am moving here, always maintaining the same position for my back, and I keep going. And with that, this ergonomic advantage is not fully guaranteed. Actually, it's only at the point when I carry the bucket from A to B, and I love GP endlessly. There will be enough fans again who will say, now he's nitpicking for mistakes and points to criticize in order to speak poorly of his product. That's complete nonsense. I think this is really great. However, the problems that this system attempts to solve have, in my opinion, not been addressed at all by car wash professionals in recent years. They had nothing to do with it at all, because this system of raising a bucket or making a detailing cart higher has been around for a long time. There are also these rolling carts, for example. Many years ago, there was a small elevation, but it didn't catch on because no one really needed it. The constant up and down movement is something you don't want in your work process. And when you wash down low, here at 2001, you are actually glad that you don't have to keep going up and down. Instead, you stay down here. you remain in position. I go to my wash bucket, which is on the floor, and stay in position. We can switch again. So it is inside. Yes. Again, here now the same effect. I wash down. And of course, I can somehow work along here with my face, but I always have to keep my shoulder up. So it is less ergonomic to have to reach up with the glove all the time, as opposed to down here, because I still have to bend down like this. In 2001, the only moment when I wash up here, I don't need to go all the way down, but I still have to bend down and save myself about 40 centimeters that I would have to go further down. But as soon as I have to go down here, I bend down, have to reach in up here, have to come back down again, go up, and come down here again. So, regarding the topic of ergonomics, folks, washing cars is still exhausting. Even with this stand foot thing, the overall, I say it again, ergonomic advantage has only improved very, very little. And you can see that when I wash the vehicle here now, I wash it just like normal. I don't know if you do it differently now, if you use a different technique, if I sit on the ground or anything. But that is exactly the procedure for washing the vehicle. On the roof, all right. You go around the glove and then you still have to bend down a bit. The bending moment is always there. The only advantage of the system here is this. When I am done here, I go to my handle, walk a little further, and place it down here. It's best to put it far away from the car. This is the only moment when I don't have to bend down so much. It works. But whether it makes the whole system worthwhile and represents a revolution, or truly an extreme innovation that solves a lot of problems, I personally do not necessarily think so. And you can feel free to hate me, as they say these days, stone me, write me nasty comments, or send me angry messages.
I am glad that GP has come up with such a system and is working with it, and that something new has actually been developed here instead of just slapping a sticker on something.
And that's why I really have to say, it's cool that it was done, but the problems addressed here were among the least existent in recent years. That's my personal opinion on it. Great, folks, here we go. Now you'll get feedback from someone who has back pain and back problems on whether this is a huge advantage when washing vehicles. So, here is the part. You can also take my washing glove. It contains nice shampoo. And you can simply work with it and handle it just as you would normally proceed.
How is it that it is for something special?
This is from JP Performance. They have now released their own car care products, and I am currently testing whether this system with the elevated bucket provides any significant advantage for the back and ergonomics. I also don't want to give my feedback on it beforehand. They should just try it out.
So you don't have to bend down so far now or constantly carry the bucket with you to keep it at a certain height.
That's right. They can then go to another place if they want and lift it themselves to see how it works. So here you can see it nicely again. So this is exactly the moment where I see it as an advantage for people who have some back problems and need to wash here. But I can still see from his movement that when he works up high, he is straight from the body, but still slightly leans in, just like I do. So it's great that this is working out so spontaneously. I'm just the kind of person who approaches people, so that actually works quite well, right? It could have been a little bit higher. It could still be a little bit more. I have to translate now because my microphone is never connected to them, so they are welcome to say something about it. No, well, it could be a little higher. Yes, then it would be optimal because as seen, it is still easy to get in. Now, my question is, would you clean the area under the sill and then go into the bucket and go back down to the sill area? That would be interesting. So I hope you understood that well. Now it's about him cleaning down here, which he would have done later anyway. I don't want to waste his time the whole time. Now we have to get back to it. Yes, exactly. He does it just like I do. He leans on his be-in to relieve his back a bit. But you still have to bend down, despite the raised bucket, so that remains a matter of ergonomics. And now he has to straighten up again to then go back down into the bucket. So this up and down remains. Yes, 2001. Well, otherwise, thank you very much. I don't want to hold you up any longer. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. So This has been some golden feedback here. It aligns perfectly with what I have just shared with you. And with that, we can now come to a concluding summary. So you can already see behind me a community member caught again. So you have seen the whole thing in action. I will make a really intense washing video with it. That was really the first reality check, so to speak. And you have seen where some of my criticisms lie. I don't want to repeat everything again. You can take a look and please be fair, both to GP and to me. Whether this really applies to you, that when you are working underneath the vehicle, you indeed have to bend down. And this does not change because of that. And for me, the only moment when I really enjoy this height increase is when transporting the bucket. But when it comes to actually working, even on the roof or something like that, I still have to bend down in the end. When I work on the top of the vehicle, I have about 40 centimeters of savings. But when I am working down at the vehicle now, I still have to either reach up into the tower or take the bucket off again and have it sitting on the ground. So this feature that he really celebrated, I have to say, in reality, it doesn't really come into its own. Maybe I fundamentally did something wrong, where I applied something completely incorrectly. But the way I wash the car here now, that's how I still do it. And for me personally, there is no huge ergonomic advantage in raising the bucket any further. Bottle transport is a different matter. It can be done well if you don't bring the water from home to the self-service box, because otherwise the bottles will be sitting with the bottle holder under the shampoo water or the fresh water. Well, that doesn't make any sense either. This means that the bottle holder definitely makes sense here. If you use such 511 bottles, neither from Dr. Glossy himself nor external ones. But otherwise, I have to say, it mainly concerns this base stand topic. Feel free to write down below what you think about it. Is this a huge ergonomic advantage for you, or do you have a different opinion? I am really looking forward to your feedback. But please stay objective, stay fair, analyze things together, take a look, and maybe even give tips to improve. And yes, I do this to give the team a bit of feedback. It's simply user feedback. And maybe there are a few areas where we can improve for the second batch or whatever. So thank you very much and greetings to the team. Until then, you have my feedback here regarding the stand-based topic for now. Until next time, you're Sebastian. Ciao. See you in the next video.